Hi, Thomas,
Hi, Maike.
and a very warm welcome everyone joining us today. Today, we'd like to talk about TurboGuide Mobile. We, that's Thomas, our expert for hydrodynamic couplings, and me, Maike, I'm your host for today. TurboGuide Mobile was launched this year's October, and you can download the app right now by scanning the following QR code. After you scan the QR code, you will download the app. Now, before we start, Thomas, can you please tell us a bit more about yourself?
Thank you, Maike. I'm Thomas, product manager for hydrodynamic couplings here in Crailsheim, Germany. I am responsible for variable speed, constant filled, and fill controlled couplings. And let me think, I'm with Voith since more than 20 years.
For our audience who don't know about fluid couplings, can you give us an insight into how they function?
We are talking about self-contained drive components used for soft starts, torque limitation, and dampening of vibrations. Different models we have in our portfolio that vary in type and size, and this determines the startup behavior. Fluid couplings are used, for example, in belt conveyors and crushers, mainly in the mining industry. Their power ranges are between 1 kilowatt up to more than 1 megawatt. And, Maike, I can give you 1 million reasons why it's now valuable to talk about our new app today. Yes, indeed, we have over 1 million couplings in operation.
That's quite a lot. Can you give us more background on the app? What was the starting point for you and your team to develop this app?
We recognized in the last years that information acquisition become more important. Why? The functionality of machines are more complex than in the past. But on the other hand, the staff which have to deal with these products, they have more responsibilities. And this results that they often have a lack of knowledge in detail. And Maike, do you know the meaning of RTFM?
Yeah, sure, I know.
Read the manual. And this cannot be the solution for every problem. We organized a kind of programmer assessment, a so-called hackathon, where programmer could present their ideas about a topic. How can we make our manual smart? We decided us for a startup in Munich. They had the best ideas for this topic and we began to work. We created, together with them, lead user panels, one in Australia and one in Canada. These panels consisted of Voith service guys paired with customers who do maintenance work, service work. We talked and listened to them, presented our ideas we have, and raised always the question, what can we do to make your life easier? We collected their feedback, discussed the outcomes again and again, programmed the first alpha version, beta version, step by step, feature for feature, back and forth and back. And afterwards, when we have something to show, going back to these customers, going back to the lead users, challenged our ideas again with them and raised the question, are these features helpful for you? And do these features make your life easier? And after several loops, we are now proud to be able to present the new Voith TurboGuide mobile app today.
Sounds pretty interesting and like a interesting story how you developed the whole thing together with startups and also with that you paired with our teams, our colleagues from Canada and Australia.
Yes. Yeah.
But please tell us, why did you choose an app and not any other tool?
two main reasons. The engineers and maintenance teams which have to deal with the couplings, they are out in the field, often in remote areas. They need a manual when it comes to maintenance work. This is typical. But in most cases, where's the manual? My manual is not by hand. It's forgotten. Oh, it's lying on my desk. I have to go back to the office. Oh my goodness. This is waste of time. And finally, what is easy to carry? What do we all have in your pocket? That's the smartphone,
Yes.
indeed. And the second thing is the smartphone itself. It's like a small computer. You have a display. You can write messages, watch videos. And normally you have access to the internet. And last but not least, you can have a phone call with it. And there are also some, let me say, hidden features in every smartphone. And I'm talking about, for example, the gyrometer. This gyrometer has an important role in the app. So, Maike, be curious.
I recall when it comes to commissioning or maintenance, you already mentioned it, our customers might need to know the exact filling level of the coupling, for example, to ensure smooth startup for belt conveyors. Can you therefore please tell us a bit more about this filling feature?
Well, in terms of constant filled fluid couplings, it all depends on the right filling of these machines. But how to manage this? It's very simple. Click on the icon filling. Then you will be shown two different methods of angle measurement. That means you can choose if you want to do an angle measurement or the screw counting method. And the angle measurement, I would like to describe a little bit more in detail because, from my point of view, this is the highlight of the app. The first step is turn the coupling until the side glass is on the top, on the 12 o'clock position. Let me say it like this. Afterwards, place the smartphone near to the top on two stable fixing points. This could be two screws or two vanes, what is most suitable for you. Then start the procedure. That means turn the coupling until you reach the green angle. And when you now see there is fluid behind the side glass, your coupling is filled correctly. If not, you have to adjust it. Put some volume in, put some volume out. Yes, and finally, not to forget, beside that angle measurement, we have in addition a tutorial which is detailing the, let me say, traditional screw counting method itself.
Sounds pretty interesting. I remember a few customer cases from the past where our couplings goes into stock and then will be installed at any driveline. What's happening there? How can the customer handle this?
The situation when a coupling is going on stock or finds another drive in a big mine or whatever, this is a typical situation, and therefore the target filling of this coupling is often unknown. And in the past, you have to call your Voith service. But now we have the app. We have an integrated filling calculator where user can insert relevant data like motor speed, motor power, effective power of the driven machine. And together with that values, your individual filling can be calculated for this coupling. And of course, not to forget to mention the corresponding filling angle of this.
Good to know. Can you explain how this would work with multimotor drive configurations, specifically when I have the same type of coupling with different filling volumes, for example, for load sharing at belt conveyors?
Yes, Mike, you mentioned it already. It's a typical situation that on belt conveyors we have normally 2, 3 or more drives, and on every drive there is a coupling. But it's often the fact that we have 3 similar couplings for these belt conveyors. And in this case, the feature includes the possibility to save the individual filling for every coupling. That means this could be based on the filling calculation you did before, or this could be based on your experience. So you can save an individual filling for every individual coupling.
I have lots of questions looking at this app. Can you please show us where we can find all couplings data, especially when I have more than one coupling in operation, like you just mentioned, when I have 1, 2, or 3 couplings?
You find an overview of all your entire fleet when you click on the icon My Inventory. There you can see all your couplings you already uploaded before. And when you click on one of that asset, of course, you see more details of this coupling.
And you might have guessed my next question. How can I actually load a coupling?
And that's pretty simple, Maike. There are 2 different ways. After tapping the icon Add a coupling, you can enter a 7-digit serial number of that coupling, or, what is even more smart, scan the QR code together with this app, because we have QR codes on our couplings since 2018. And therefore, this is, of course, the smartest way. Right after scanning the code or typing in the number, you will have access to all your coupling details.
And didn't you bring us something for the audience and for me today to actually demonstrate it?
Yes, I have something with me. You see it in the back. We created a kind of demonstrator coupling that you have the possibility to play around with it, use the serial number 1 million, or what is more simple, scan the QR code with this app and get a little bit more insight about the app.
Thanks, Thomas. So if you had downloaded the app at the beginning of the webinar, now you can scan this QR code. You might have this demo and can now follow the next steps. So can you please tell us a bit more about the coupling data, which is actually stored on the app?
Besides the 3-dimensional picture of the coupling you see on top, we have here the size and the type of the coupling, and of course the serial number, which is for us the important one. Then we have some general information, like information about the drive, means, motor power and motor speed. And of course, all relevant information about the filling. Means, of course, the target filling, but also some minimum or maximum values you can put into the coupling. And, of course, the corresponding filling angle when you use the angle measurement, or the amount of screws when you would like to choose the screw counting method.
That's quite a bit of info. What else does the app offer?
Well, under tutorials, we share several information and animation instructions which are very helpful during different processes when handling the coupling. Starting with assembly work, doing the alignment of the drive, fill in the correct oil or water into the coupling, check the filling, and finally dismantling the coupling. Here you also find step-by-step guidance which is detailing this traditional screw counting method, which is also very important and not so smart described in our paper manual.
Good to know. Next to the tutorial icon, I see a troubleshooting icon. What can we access here?
In simple words, potential failures and their solutions. For example, in terms of wrong filling, what is the behavior of the machine and how to solve the problem. Or what to do when the coupling is leaking or when the coupling is getting a thermal overload. So this is all described here.
Great. Thomas, you initially mentioned customers might not have a manual on hand. Can you give all of us a quick insight where this can be accessed?
We have integrated the complete manual for this constant filled fluid coupling, and this in a really, really user-friendly manner. That means when you want to select a chapter which is of interest, go on the table of contents, tap into this chapter, and you are automatically forwarded to this target chapter. Then you can read what you want and see all the details in the manual, and that's it.
I love quick and simple access. Please give us some information on the webshop icon. Can I order here spares directly for my coupling from the app?
Yes, absolutely. You can very easy select your spare parts by using this exploded view, where you can find your relevant parts. Our users don't always know the correct wording of the type of spare parts they need, and therefore this exploded view will help them. Afterwards, you will be forwarded to the so-called My Voith platform, where our webshop is placed. In this, type in the number of, for example, fusible plugs you want to buy, and press the order button. That's all. And if you don't have a registration yet, this is also not a problem. Just fill your data in the short registration form and get access to this webshop.
I love the functions and features integrated. Is there also customer support available in case I have any further questions? And where do I find this on the app?
Well, in this regard, I have to highlight our competent Voith service support worldwide. When you click on the support icon and allow the app getting access to your location, the app will show you the relevant local service contact together with the phone number and the email address of this contact. And of course, this feature is available 24/7.
Thank you, Thomas. I can clearly see the main advantages here for maintenance and service. Since the app was released mid-October, are there already some experience from the field from any mining customers you would like to tell us today?
Oh yes, I would like to emphasize here one example which we collected from our colleagues in Canada. Here you see how the customer is using the app for the very first time during an oil filling check in his steel mill. And he was quite glad about it, I heard.
Great example, Thomas, and good job from our colleagues in Canada. And I guess there are many more cases out there deriving from our great installed base. Now let's switch over to our Q&A session. We've collected some of the frequently asked questions up front, and now I would like to start with the first one. So Thomas, please tell us, is the app suitable for all fluid coupling sizes?
This app is available for the complete constant filled fluid coupling portfolio, and this means, when you talked about sizes, from 154 up to 1330.
And is the app suitable for all couplings, so also the older ones out there?
We have a really huge database in our systems, but the problem are our long-lasting and unbelievable robust products. They are running and running and running. Good for our customers, of course, but challenging for us. Honestly, there could be some, let me say, white spots, especially couplings which we have delivered in the last century. There we don't have all of them in our digital database, in our ERP systems without any gaps. But not a problem in this case. Our customer can always call our local service support And these guys are happy to gather this information for our customers and forward these coupling details to them.
Okay. Another question was, are there any costs associated with the app?
I'm really happy to answer this question with a clear no. This app is going to enhance our service portfolio and is for everybody for free.
And Thomas, please tell us, do I have to register in order to use the app?
Well, one major target when we developed the app was keep it simple as possible. And this means we decided not to put so many hurdles in a registration process, and therefore we say no, there is no registration necessary for using the app. That means, on the other way around, just go on your common app store, download the app, insert a serial number or scan a QR code, and here we go.
That's it. Sounds pretty simple. And another question was, is the app also function properly if I don't have a connection to the internet? Are there any offline features?
Currently, internet access is necessary for using the app. But we are already working on a very interesting update where we plan to utilize a kind of download feature. That means you may know Spotify or Amazon Music, where you can download some songs you want to have available when you are in offline conditions. And this is something similar to our ID. Then in this case, the user can decide upfront when he goes to a remote area where he doesn't have an internet access. Then he can choose upfront which assets, which couplings he wants to collect. And these couplings should be downloaded forward. And that means in remote condition, all information are available.
Okay. You already mentioned where you're working on currently. Are there any other upcoming releases? What do you plan for the future?
As already mentioned, we are already in the programming phase of our next major release. One feature, we talked about it before, is the offline feature. But we have also some other ideas. And minutes ago, you asked me about database for older couplings. And of course, the possibility to add the local service contact that could help in this case when data are missing. But what about having a simple request button for our user? That means only fill in a kind of small form the serial number he did not find in the app. Just fill in the form, press the request button, and this means we would get in our headquarters in Germany a message that there are some data required. Then it's our job to have a look on this asset, to have a look maybe in some old and dusty paper folders and bring these information to our ERP system, make this information digital and feed this information into the TurboGuide app. And this is already planned. This is already, let me say, in a final stage. And Maike, so stay tuned about upcoming updates.
Sounds pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to it, Thomas. That was the last question from my side. If you have any questions which we did not address today, please write them in a chat window and we will reach out to you afterwards. So let's wrap up today's session. What did we learn today? TurboGuide Mobile is an app for everyone handling Voith constant fill fluid couplings. It includes a new smart angle measurement tool and lots of useful features and functions. It's for free and you don't need to register. All in all, this is an app for easy on-the-go coupling management. This leads me to the end of today's webinar. Thank you for joining us today and we will be in touch with you. Have a nice day. Goodbye.
Goodbye.